Hey, hello, everyone. Welcome to our fourth webinar in our series. We're doing one a week since we've run into this disruption in the industry in the past month or thereabouts. My name is David Macadam. I'm the CEO of the Middle East Council of Shopping Centers and Retailers. Today, we're hosting our fourth webinar in the past 4 weeks, and we'll be hearing from some experts, retail professionals, and leaders from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So these are a live briefing, and what we like to do is we like to put together information from different corners of what's going on in the GCC particularly, and we're putting together, and also Ian, our director, is tracking some kinds of different feelings that people have towards what's going on. And what's happened is that in this series of questions that Ian has asked, that our members are feeling more confident about the next 90 days. And that's nearly doubled the number of people who are feeling more confident. So that's great. And uncertainty is dropped down to around 17% from around 25%. So people are feeling a little bit more certain about the future too. So the mood is shifting. And last week we heard directly from Dubai's Department of Economic and Tourism. And if you wanted to hear about that entire session, it's on a YouTube clip that you can download. You can get it through LinkedIn, and you can get it through just reaching out to our office, so we can let you share with that. But today we have two senior Saudi-based leaders who will give us the view from the ground. And I'd like to begin by introducing a seasoned Saudi retail real estate executive with over 20 years of experience across leasing, operations, business development. He currently serves as the Chief Operating Officer of Azad Properties and acting CEO of Red Malls, where he oversees operations of Duran Mall and a growing portfolio across the kingdom. So his career spans senior roles at Savola Group and Keenan, Director of Leasing, Unified Real Estate, and a number of other major shopping center owners, developers, and real estate companies. So please join me in welcoming Majed Abdullah Al Gothmi. And Majed, thank you. We appreciate it. We'll get back to you with a few questions in a few minutes. The other gentleman who is with us today is a distinguished Saudi business leader with more than 35 years of executive experience across retail, real estate, hospitality, and destination development. He currently serves as vice chairman of TEAA Holding Company and chairman of the Saudi Retail Forum. Throughout his career, he has held prominent leadership and governance roles, including chairman of Jeddah Central Markets Company, chairman of Azad Properties, chairman of Red Malls, chief executive officer of Red Sea Market Company, and widely recognized for shaping landmark destinations and contributing to the advancement of Saudi Arabia's retail and real estate sectors. Please join us in welcoming Mohammad Iqbal Alawi. He's made history as the first Arab appointed to the Board of Trustees of ICSC in New York, and the first Arab to receive ICSC Honorary Degree Award, the Honorary Award. A certified arbitrator and respected keynote speaker, he's also received honorary recognition from the UN MTC, including an honorary directorate in business administration, ambassador goodwill, and peace designation. So Mohammad, it's a pleasure to have you with us as well. So between Majed and Mohammad, we're going to have what's going on the ground in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia today. So let me begin with the first question for Mohammad Alawi. You've been shaping Saudi real estate and retail for over 3 decades. And how does this disruption compare to previous crises you've navigated, such as COVID? And what are you seeing right now in
Hello.
terms of how the market is recovering? Mohammed, did you hear my question, or do you want me to repeat it? maybe what we'll do is, Majed, you're with us still. I think Mohammad is having maybe some headaches there. You're running the day-to-day operations at Duran Mall in the Eastern Province and overseeing Azad's portfolio. What is the operational reality on the ground for Saudi malls right now?
Okay, just allow me, please, David, before I answer your question, to thank you for inviting me to this webinar and also commend you for your consistent response during difficult times like this ones that we are facing, in keeping us, the industry professional, connected in this part of the world, as well keeping us informed, engaged, and encouraged to continue doing what we're doing and serving our communities with excellence, resilience, and positivity.
Well, Majed, thank you. And with experts and professionals like you, I appreciate what you're saying. And I also really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you. So going back to your question, I can share with you today what we are experiencing in our two retail platform destinations. Dhahran Mall, of course, is one of them. It is located in the eastern province of the kingdom, for those who don't know it, and it is an enclosed mall with a GLA of more than 100,000 square meters. And it's been opening since 2005. 2 decades of serving the people of the Eastern Province. And then we've got the second asset, Souk 7, which is located in the opposite side of the country on the west coast, at Ritzi in Jeddah. It's considered, and Souk 7 is considered today as one of the kingdom's largest open-air retail destinations. It was opened back in last December 2025, just recently, with 7 zones covering everything from fashion, electronics, food, and to building materials and everything, and automotive. Souk 7 was built majorly around 3 major pillars, which are the variety, values, and experience. And it is already building a loyal community currently and during this time, only 3 months. What we noticed in the first quarter, which is during the disruption, we actually noticed an increase in traffic as well as conversion in sales. And I think this was due to 3 major points, I believe. First of all, the residents, they stayed here in Jeddah, or in the kingdom rather. And as such, their spend stayed with them in the local market. And then the second point is that people I've seen during Ramadan, for example, they had a strong urge for, they wanted just to be normal and they wanted to get along with their lives. And I saw them enjoying themselves in destinations, in places where it attracted them and attracted from where they can connect socially to it. And of course, malls, they were part of their daily life, and therefore it had its own share of their time. And also I saw a rise in the local and regional tourism. Religious tourism during Ramadan brought significant numbers. I've seen as well Gulf visitors coming to, it was reported for Dhahran. We've seen many of them coming to, especially the Bahraini and Qatari families, as well as even in Jeddah here, where I'm based. I saw many of them during the season. Just to give you context, I have read some of the official reports that came to me. They were saying that they reported around 30 million domestic tourism took place here for the Q1 in 2026, which is up by around 16% year on year, which shows you a strong engine for destinations and malls. And as I told you, my brother, he works at Jeddah Airport, and only for Jeddah Airport, just to give you another perspective, I was asking him about their performance during the first quarter, how many passengers they have received, and he told me it was around 14.8 million, which is up by around 2.8% during the disruption.
It's amazing to hear that. It's really a good news story, Majed. So thank you for sharing all that. It's amazing to really understand that the reality on the ground, it sounds from your perspective, both in Dhahran and also in Souk 7 and around the Jeddah area, has been very positive. In fact, it's up in terms of overall numbers and in terms of the sales you're speaking of. Is that a fair assessment?
I would say so, yes. Also, as you know, we kickstart a project in Dhahran, Tajdeed, which is comprising of two major phases. Phase 1 is where we are investing more than around 50 million to renovate the important parts of the mall, starting from the entrances, corridors, restrooms, repair rooms, and food court, planned to finish on Q4. And during the disruption, we went ahead and pressed ahead and did not stop, and works took place during Ramadan, and working hours, and people continued to come. So all these are, from what I see here in our region, I see that we did not pause during the disruption, and I think this sets a very important message to this part of the world, that when you manage a property, you don't manage it for month by month or quarter by quarter. Rather, you want to build for next generation. And today, I see Souk 7 continues to build its momentum, and it is flourishing. These are the two testaments of the resilience.
Yes, it's a great resilient story.
And the strength of the Saudi market here that I have to share with you. Yes.
So the operational reality you're speaking of on the ground for Saudi malls is very strong, and appreciate that. Mohammad, are you with us? It looks like you're coming and going, if you're there.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry for this interruption.
No problem.
We have a technology interruption now.
Okay.
rather than the war interruption.
Yeah, okay. Are you able to answer the first question that I have here for you? Okay, I will read it out to you. You've been shaping Saudi retail for over 3 decades. How does this disruption that we're seeing now compare to previous crises you've navigated? And what are you seeing right now in the terms of how the market is recovering?
First of all, thank you, David, for hosting me, myself and my dear friend Majed. And thank for MECSR also. Always on tough times, they show their capabilities to put the industry together. This has happened in many cases in the past. So today is one of them. So thanks for this webinar program, which trying to help the industry also and enlightening what's going on.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. As you know, the industry, and let me be specific now about Saudi Arabia, and also it's applied in the GC, it has become a mature structurally. When we started business 30 years ago or 40 years, it was largely driven by individual solo, which he owned the land, he have the cash, he developed the property. This is happening in Basatin, Hafiz family. This is happening in many projects. I could name it for you. Endless, Suq Harat Dawli and other. But today, we are in era of companies and corporate. They have a very clear corporate framework, strategy, governance, structures, agility protocol, and allowed rapid response to any change happening to their business. Also, they do a lot of investigation of the risk management, risk business risk and interruption. And so I think uh, this is give us like we call a solid backbone of structured business. Yes, we could be affected here and there, but we always ready to respond. In GCC, we navigate through many crises, as you are aware. The Gulf War, 1990 to 91. Iraq War, 2003. The global financial crisis, 2008. COVID-19. Each one generate a lot of learning for us and lead us to be stronger and stronger. And we putting a lot of risk mitigation plans. We started now every day when every year when we put a plan, we had A plan, B plan, C plan for everything. Change supply always was in risk, many times happening through the inflation, through the change of the currency in some countries. We all know that, and we went through that. Alhamdulillah, one of the good things happened this time for Saudi, especially now. We do have a Vision 2030. Vision 2030, as you are aware, is flipping the formula from depending 100% or 80% or 90% oil to drop it to 45%. And we almost now 50-50 in terms of the GDP. And this is again, it gives us a resilience in this crisis. Retail, as you know, grow up from 270 billion Saudi riyal to 350 billion riyal. Infrastructure for the retail, it's there. So I think the disruption this time is not that strong as we think before. But saying that, it's all going to be also depending about the magnitude of how long this exercise will happen.
Yes.
Yeah. If this is going to be longer than that, we're going to have a severe chain supply interruption. Yes, there is a lot of seaport in the Red Sea area, which could subsidize Hormuz and the Gulf area. And this is what now we're doing. Many of the shipment coming to the GCC country is using the Red Sea seaport. We have, I think, 7 seaport in the seaport
Yes.
in the
Yes.
GCC. Plus, there is in Jordan also, there is a connection between Jordan, Saudi to the rest of the countries of the GCC. And I think this is will reduce the pressure on the chain of supply. But again, the momentum there, one of the good things is happening. Our business now, our shopping industry, retail industry in the region are led by young generation, and those young generation, by blood, they believe in dynamic solution and by dynamic movement, and this is will make them faster than we used to do 30 years ago in action, taking action and moving quickly, and hopefully these things will be settled quickly as possible. Myself, I am more sure we going to pass this crisis with less damages, inshallah.
Excellent. Well, I think that what you are suggesting is very positive and upbeat as well. And when you put it in the context like you did, starting in the 1990s through all of the other disruptions until the COVID in 2020, I mean, there's been a number of situations where the region, and particularly Saudi, has fared very well, given the resilience that the people have in terms of moving ahead. Majed, let me get to you on another point. One of our past webinars, one of our people that were chatting were saying that there was actually an increase in the number of retailers, tenants, looking to get a foothold into the GCC market and the retail market. And I'm asking you, from your perspective, has there been any shift in leasing activity or expansion plans or general confidence that you've seen in your projects?
What I've seen is cautious. So those who are with us today, they're enjoying their sales. They're enjoying, the increment and the increase in footfall. Now, however, those who are, whom we are in negotiation with and want them to come in, they're committed and they show commitment. It's just that they are kind of trying to figure out, as Mohammad said, the supply chain maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps them a little bit cautious. Okay, I want to come in, but then what do I need to do to figure out my supply chain? How am I going to have more supply for this branch, for example? Where am I going to source it from? This is what I'm seeing. But I haven't seen, and this is for both international and local brands. And I'm not seeing them pulling out. Rather, they are, they are committed. It's just that they're asking a little bit time trying to figure out how they're going to run their operations and whether this crisis that we're in is going to, as Mohammed said, if it's going to be prolonged. However, confidence, as everybody's seeing, today, what we hear in the market, in the news, peace, efforts are taking place. So,
Yeah.
rising the confidence.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I have a comment, David, also.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah.
I noticed even during the crisis when it started, the number of brand coming to the region and start opening. Yani Primark opened in Dubai during the crisis.
Yes, that's true.
That's an example. And I could, if you follow me up in LinkedIn, you'll find me. I'm posting more and more brand opening those days in the region, in Saudi, in Kuwait, in Dubai, and everywhere. I think retailers are smart. They know this crisis is not that crisis will destroy their business. Yes, it will affect their operation temporary, but they need to continue in their expansion plan. So you will find more and more brand still searching for this market, regardless what is the outcome of that exercise happening now.
That reconfirms, Mohammad and Majed, about what we've heard in other GCC retail markets as well, is that people are still wanting to come into the market. They see this as a relatively short-term blip or problem that they have to look at. But on a similar theme, Mohammad, let me go back to you with one. You've spoken publicly about Saudi retail becoming proudly homegrown. And how is the homegrown Saudi retail ecosystem responding versus, say, the international operators? Is there any difference you have seen?
First of all, I had the pleasure early to vote for Saudis, boys and girls, to be in the industry. And thank God they are leading the retail industry everywhere. Especially with the Saudization law in Saudi Arabia, you could see the percentage of Saudis everywhere. This is take us to the next stage where a lot of homegrown brand had started now by Saudis within the Saudi market, and they're doing great. They're competing also in a foot with all the other competitors. If you go to the coffee concept, I could give you all the name. Barnes have 600 brand, 500,000, Cloud 20, Cloud 90. I could get the perfume, the food, the clothes. I think the homegrown brand. Some of them even moved out of the Saudi to the international arena. Batil everywhere from Harrods to Singapore airport. Naomi's, I think, if I'm not wrong, 400 store in the regions. Mehyar, all those brands. So they working on a very corporate mind, and they're responding to all those issues. And this is now become like stories. Every time I attend a conference anywhere in the world, people they talking about localization and authentic. Localization's brand, localization of F&B, localization of entertainment, localization of culture in their buildings or
And
in
beauty products as well,
exotic
Mohammed.
beauty,
Yeah.
yeah, in their assets and making it looks like more appeal to the local people and give it a flavor of a localization. Uh, the crisis does not affected the current crisis does not affected their expansion plan. They're doing good, and as Majid said, we seeing more and more home tourists growing. 26 million this year, maybe 28 million in this during this crisis has visited many cities in Saudi Arabia, and they are spending in the international and the local. And actually, I keep telling everybody, keep watching from the homegrown Saudi business. Government are pushing a lot of strategy for them. Munshaat, the organization had responsible about all those entrepreneurs and startup business, giving a lot of support, education, training, consultation, credit, facility, finance, and following up. And every day and day, we see more and more homegrown brand everywhere. And I think in the past, we used to laugh when we talk about 7 to 8% F&B in a mall. Now I think 35 something. I will not, and take it from me, I will not be surprised in the next 10 years we'll find 50% of our tenant mix is homegrown business.
I would believe that, and I agree what you're saying, and thank you for that. It covers it off. Majed, I'm going to go back to you on this one as well. You've spoken a little bit already about consumer behavior and the confidence that is coming across in terms of people visiting. You were talking earlier about Daran Mall and where people came from during the difficult times. And what was your reaction and what was the confidence that you were seeing from those experiences?
Okay. Let me start with the big picture. I believe we have solid growth drivers in the kingdom, and those are the young population, whom are more than 60%, I believe, under the 35.
Yes. Yep.
And they've got rising disposable income and growing demands, usually for experiences. And as such, today, I saw during the disruption that consumers wanted to continue to go out, and they were more connected to properties or destinations that were connected and was relevant to the community in a way. And those properties that were able to do that, they got the best share of loyalty and more transactions for themselves. And as I mentioned during RLC, that today the success for any property or any asset comes from its ability to serve and measure not only transactions, but also the share of time and the share of heart. the more a property is able to have people dwell and spend more time, then the more these people, when they sit, they spend, and they socialize, they like the place, they would visit more, they would come back, and they will spend more. In the Dhahran Mall, we noticed during the season an increase in the traffic footfall that was higher than last year, and most of them were coming from, when we noticed, a big portion of them were coming from the Gulf families, especially the Bahrainis and Qataris. They chose to be with us during the disruption time, and now for Dhahran, the team, I really was proud of them. They came up with a nice idea, small gesture, going and distributing, flowers and cards, welcoming them, saying, welcoming them and considering them that they are in their second home. And from there, we saw that these cohort, the Gulf visitors, they kept coming back to Dhahran Mall and spend more time. And as such, of course, there was good reports about even an increment in sales. This is what, yeah.
I think that I also heard you saying earlier that you took this opportunity and your team took the opportunity in hand to actually try and embellish what was going on. And you reconfirmed their attendance in your shopping centers by providing flowers or other nice events that helped to cement your relationship.
Exactly.
What happened with that exactly?
They felt emotional. They felt the emotional ties with the mall, and they felt comfortable and relevant. So, when you go to a place where you feel you're comfortable, you're welcomed, you will come back to it. And this is exactly what we noticed and what we saw and experienced during the period.
Yeah, it's an interesting and a great story, and thank you for sharing that, Majed. Mohammad, I'm going to go back to you and talk a little differently now. I know Majed has spoken a little bit about the tourism, the religious tourism. You have a project that you've had a lot of involvement in over the years called The Point in Abha, and it's a strategic partnership with the Saudi Tourism Development Fund and others. How are tourism-linked retail developments in the kingdom being affected with what's going on? And what does the recovery look like for assets outside of the major metro areas, in your view?
First of all, Sadil, when you were talking to me yesterday, we had a workshop in Jeddah Chamber with the Deputy Minister of Tourism in Jeddah, and we was talking about many issues. The country, as we've been told, the country is not being affected totally with this exercise. Many people are still coming, especially the religious people. There is a growth in the Umrah and the Hajj times coming also on the doors, and this will be plus for the country. The point is about now what we call it the Saudi vision in building the infrastructure for tourism all over the country. There is a strategy for Saudis had been done by the government for tourism, and this strategy, there is a lot of tools involved on it, including the exhibition, conference, event, entertainment activities all over the country, hosting big mega project event, example the Expo, the Formula, the World Cup, FIFA, and the list is going on every day. That according to that, we need to be ready with hotels, ready with lifestyle project, ready with our retail offering, ready with our entertainment and project. And according to that, the Red Sea Market Company decided to invest in Abha. Abha is one of the leading area in the south of Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
in the Point project. The Point project is a mixed use lifestyle, 2 hotels with Hilton the Canopy and Hilton Resident, plus retail, plus medical center, many other components, and the project is going very well so far. And I think that by the end of 27 we'll be ready, inshallah, to open the door for the guests. The point I want to mention it yesterday, we came from yesterday workshop with the Ministry of Tourism, is still, this is very important. We need to do a lot of work from our side in the country. The statics, which they do sometimes on the visitor inside the country and outside, they still feeling the quality of the retail is not that the wow factor available. That's number one. The customer experience need to be improved. The variety of the product, again, maybe the weather is different here than the weather in other country, but still the variety is not. So one of the workshop we going to help soon with a group of selective big retailer in Riyadh. This is outcome of yesterday workshop, to look how to improve and support retail. Good news also, we heard about it. The government also established the Saudi Retail Academy to train people, to provide more qualified people in the market with the various programs. And I think that's another good things which we like to see. But I think the Saudi's tourism strategy on the goals going on, according to what they've been planned. The government is opening more and more resort in the Red Sea, more resort and other. A lot of entertainment project, big by Al Qadiyah 7, all on the schedule. Some of them they open on the Eid, some of them going to open by end of this year. And I think that all together is going to be improve the experience of tourism to the country. Moreover, Hajj and Umrah, religious tourism, is under the spot of the government. They spending a lot of workshop to improve it. The whole Hajj industry had been restructured since 2022. I am vice chairman of one of the companies that we responsible about 17 to 18% of the outside pilgrims from Turkey, Europe, America, Australia. And we do a lot of workshop with Ministry of Hajj to improve the experience, so people they come. We notice now more quality spending in the two holy city Mecca, and more frequent visit and more time they spend it. The trip to Mecca used to be 4 nights in Hajj. Now we hear that it's been expanded to 7. Umrah from 2 nights to 5 nights. This is happening gradually, and more real estate project happening like Masar, King Salman Gate, Dakhir Gate, huge big project to host more hotels and residents and availability of rooms for all those visitors.
That's excellent. Well, thank you for that. That's a great update on what's going on. Majed, I'm going to throw another question back to you, which I believe you probably have a great oversight as operators in your portfolio. What are the biggest lessons from navigating this period that we've just been through that the industry, the retail industry overall, should carry forward, particularly in Saudi Arabia?
Okay, I summarized them into 4 big lessons, and I'm just gonna skim through them very quickly.
Sure.
I think lesson number 1 is that community trust is gained through your ability to be relevant to them. And if you gain or if you achieve the community trust, then this is your biggest asset as an operator. This is lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, in every crisis, there is always opportunities, and you need to, and this is when people need to stay optimistic And as such, resilience investment is done before the crisis, and this is what, not after the crisis, and this is what keeps people, really flourish and give them big boosts, especially after the crisis is gone. Lesson 3 is we as operators strive to always measure what matters and need to listen more to our customers. And it's not only transactions, but it's also the share of heart and share of time that we are competing for. Lesson number 4, keeping a long-term view where we're not building only for today, rather we're building for the future and for tomorrow. This is, I think, what it gives us a big competitive advantage in such a disruptive and dynamic market.
Majed, that's great. So what I'm taking away from that is have a little bit of a longer term view on things and making sure that you've created the trust and the relevance of the community to make sure that it continues regardless. I appreciate that. Mohammad, I've got another question for you, and it's centered around the relevance of trust and community. And for the Middle East Council of Shopping Centers and Retailers, one of the biggest initiatives this year in 2026 is we are reaching out to the younger retail professionals navigating their first part of their life in the industry. And I know you've been in the industry for many years, and as have I. But one of the things that I need to get from you is that you've helped shape this industry over the 3 decades that you've been actively involved. What would you say today to the younger retail professionals navigating their first major disruption? And what gives you the confidence in what they will build as a younger person? Do you follow what I'm trying to get to in all of this? Thank you.
Yes. First of all, thank you for considering me one of the young leaders.
Well, of course you are
Not the young.
But by the
Yes,
way,
the young.
everyone is younger than me, so it's no problem.
Okay. Anyway, I always happy when I see all my young fellow we work together, Majed, Ayman, anybody, and we see them working together, and we attending conference now, and I see
Yes.
them, and I see them now, mashallah, tabarakallah, leading their way and business doing good. My advisor to the younger generation navigating this moment is doing so from stronger base than any previous generation in the industry. Here, what I would say to them, yani, every disruption marks those who navigate it well. And I repeat that, every disruption mark who navigate it well. If you do it well, work hard with your team, people will recognize you that you done well and went through all this crisis. And I don't want to mention name, but in my life I met a lot of people in different crises, business crisis, and you could see them navigate their business and with their team, and they done do it. The retail leader for the next decade are being defined right now by decision they are making, the team they work with together and supporting. And I think this is where, with the moment that we all have to come to our teams and work together. Second things I want to say to them, the market fundamental give every reason for confidence. I repeat, the market fundamental give every reason for confidence. We went through a lot of issues in the past. You remember the e-commerce and deliveries and how going to affect and mall
Yes.
and mall will close and people that will just buy from Walmart and the delivery people, you don't need to have a restaurant. It come to your house, eat in your garden instead of restaurant. all those nonsense issues. And we was talking about it for the last 35, 40 years. I forget. Mall there and will continue there. Mall will change. Mall dynamic business. Shopping mall are going to be the dynamic. Retail business will be there, but will be dynamic and change according to the mood, according to the business, according to everything. I just came from a trip to Thailand. This is first trip to me, Thailand, in Eid. And I spent beside 1 week in the islands, I've been 1 week in Bangkok, and I had pleasure visiting all the malls on those beautiful cities. And I have to admit, it's a really very advanced, nice, great malls. And
Those malls are beautiful. I could attest to that. Yeah.
beautiful, well planned, well designed, well for tourism,
Well leased. Yeah.
with and the aesthetic feeling. And I saw a lot of industry I never dreamed will be in a shopping mall. So this is where we have to keep learning how people inventing their business and doing all the reason their business to sustain and to continue. The third things also I want to say to the young generation is for the last 60 years, for the 60% of the population of Saudi Arabia at least is a young generation. And when you said young generation, that means a dynamic generation. They always try to move with a new idea, learn with a new idea, come with a new solution for all their problem. And I think this will make their life easy. At any crisis, going to face it in the future, if it come. My advice simply stay close to your team, and I repeat, team, team, team. Nobody work alone. If you work alone, you are a loser. Stay close to your team, act on the information available, search for the information and the data, so you learn more. Keep learning from every conversation like today and like the other 4 webinar. Every conference, every exhibition, every challenge you will see that will add and shape you to a better future, inshallah. That's my advice.
Well, Mohammad, thank you very much. And Mohammad, Alawi, and Majed Al Gothmi, thank you very much for this. Now, we have about 3 to 5 minutes left. Is there anything, Majed, in closing that you wanted to pass along to our webinar listeners today?
I would like to share my experience in the retail world. I started my career with the family business and then shifted into corporate world in the early 2000s. And what I learned during these times, and as Mohammad said, there has been so many disruptions along this journey. We've seen so many disruptions to the industry, and I learned that all along during this period, those who were close to their consumers, as well as their teams, as Mohammad said, who were eager to listen to them and eager to solve their problems, were big winners. And I can say one of the most concepts that I like, that is close to my heart, which is Abiyat. I think they've done such a great job, and they were listening to their customers from the very beginning, as the people, and as the market grew and people, share of time became really less, and they tried to provide everything under one roof. And we see them today, how they are thriving. I think so. It's staying close to your customers, being always attentive to market dynamics will give us and give those who are keen about the retail the advancement, and will give them leading positions.
Majed, thank you. I appreciate that. Mohammad, you'd spoken about the importance of team And did you have any other final closing thoughts besides?
Yes, David. I was just going through some of the questions some people sent it, Mr. Mahmoud Al-Faki, and he was mentioning about the strategic how in this time how the landlord should work with tenant. Uh, I just want to remind everybody during the COVID, it was a total shut down in our business. Maybe now we have the Hormuz Strip is shut down, but it's not shutting the whole country's 100%. But malls in our business during COVID was shut down totally by the law.
Yes, yes.
But that time, I think one of the succeed lessons we learned that malls operator, malls management, and their teams went in a quick dialogue with all their tenants. I think this is what we need to do now. Everybody need to talk to his tenant. Tenant is our formula in our succeed in our business. Let's talk to them, see what is their problems, how we could support them, how we could, if we need to extend time, if we could extend, delay the payment, if all whatever. I think the working with our tenant, understanding, solving their problem, receiving their comment, because sometimes they have good comment to make their business sustainable, give them all the support is very important. My advice now for every operator, just ask your team to go down and talk to your tenant and see what we could do to make their life easier. This is the best advice I could do it now.
Thank you, Mohammed. And it's great advice. And what you're speaking of is breaking down the silos of us and them. You're trying to be open communication and understanding how you can support and help each other. And I think that's a big part of it. There are always opportunities in challenges. And I know, Majed, you'd said that as well. And if we can look for the optimistic things that can flow from this, have greater communication, work with teams, create this community of trust so that you can do it and grow. And also understand that there's a lot of room in this industry for the younger generation coming through. And the people who are on this call today and the people who are the webinar people who are joining us, as long as you understand that if you can keep communicating and if you want to reach out through our organization, the Middle East Council of Shopping Centers or retailers, or through the gentleman or other people in these webinar events, please do so. We're more than happy to help you on that. Okay, I'm going to bring it to an end now. Majed, Al-Gothmi, thank you. Mohammad Alawi, thank you as always. Great supporters. I appreciate your, and just keep watching LinkedIn, keep watching your communication portals that you follow the Middle East Council of Shopping Centers and Retailers with. And you'll see how you can learn a little bit more about what's going on in other corners of the world, which we think is an important aspect to think about as well. I think from my perspective, that's just about it. I appreciate everyone who has joined us. I appreciate the support you've given us. I know I wanted to thank our team, the Middle East Council of Shopping Centers and Retailers. Our team is always available. We're working harder now than we've ever worked. And it's great, by the way. We're enjoying every minute of it because, as Majed said earlier, these opportunities arise in challenging times. And these are challenging times, and we'll figure out a way through it and become stronger and even better in the future. So once again, Majed, Mohammed, thanks again. And
thank you and good luck,
that's
David.
it. Okay, thank you. We'll be in touch.
You.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.